some very good campaigns like the Walk to School campaign, but it seems that although we know it was fascinating the way you were able to break that quite simply down into 5 different key areas that I think we can all relate to. But I think a lot of people don't even know their own area where they live. I mean, can you all name, not now, but can you all name the 10 streets that are closest to where you live? Do you know all of those streets that are within 1 square kilometre of where you live? Do you go a different route to work or to the tube every day or sometimes? I want you to do that exercise, but not right now. But I think it really says, when you walk, you discover new areas. So what's been the most revealing thing for you, in your study now with Arab?
I think for me, a lot of it is information, and it's getting people to understand how easy it is to walk. People's perceptions of time and distance tend to be quite skewed. So particularly if people drive, they will think to drive somewhere is 5 minutes drive, 10 minutes drive, and people will often talk about distances in that way. People often do not realise how close places are in terms of walking, how quick walking is. Walking has no faff.
Yeah.
You put on a pair of trainers or not if you want to. You don't have to get the car out of the garage or do something. You just go. And so it's actually very quick. And I think some of the journey time apps and some of the legible London maps in London that show people how quick it is. Particularly if you use a Central London example, Central London is very small.
Yeah. You
can walk virtually everywhere. People will go by the tube because they have the confidence, because it's a fixed line, and they think, yes, I'm getting on there and I'm getting off there. But actually, once people start walking more and see the benefits of it, it just opens their eyes, and I think they realise that it goes from being the mode of last resort to a mode of choice.
How many people here, just raise your hand, walk at least 2 miles every day? Okay, that's about 10%. How many would do more than 2 miles a day? Okay, and how many would do less than half a mile a day? Okay, there's a lot of people that haven't put their hand up for anything. Anyway, I think we all know the benefits, and it's very interesting, the link between dementia. That's not one that I've come across before. I want to throw the microphone to the floor, please. Can you raise your hand if you've got a question, please, for Susan? I know we're quite tight on time. I'm just going to take one question here, the chap in the blue top, please. But I know that I was always astounded years ago the way, if you were in America, people would get in their car and they'd go 100 metres down the road in a car to get an ice cream. And I thought, God, this is so lazy. And now the lazy miles is kind of here because of convenience. But I think that if we made it harder to use your car, then people would think twice about it. And we do need kind of much more of a campaign that, walking is good for your mental health. And we all know that. I think that's what's really good. Have you got a microphone there?
Yes.
Great. What's your name?
Juan Bono, Lang Walk.
Hi.
You mentioned on your first topic being economy as being the first element that influences pedestrian transport. What are insurance companies doing about it? Because you mentioned the NHS could save up to 17 billion within the next number of years if we all walk more. So are the insurance companies actually doing anything about it?
Interesting question, not that I'm aware of. I throw it open to the floor to see if anybody else knows of it. I'm not aware of insurance companies even taking it into consideration.
You could probably give them a good idea that you get reduced insurance if you walk 10 miles a week because, or for your life insurance.
I think Virgin have got a plan.
Have you got a microphone there?
I think Virgin has done.
I think Virgin are starting to look into that as a potential.
Right.
Getting their employees to measure how many steps they actually do on a daily basis to see whether that.
Certainly some companies do in terms of their travel plans, and they will monitor that either in terms of their sustainability reporting on an annual basis. I would actually like to see health become more of that consideration, particularly, I said, with the realisation that you have lower absenteeism levels and you have more alert employees. So I think if employers can start to value the benefits of walking in a business sense, that will be very powerful. And I said, you know, many companies will have travel plans and there is scope for measuring it in that way. But I think for me, a lot of this is really articulating the benefits of walking so it gets taken seriously, because up till now, it tends not to be. People, when they're sort of like policy documents, will start off with, you know, road, rail, go through all the modes, and you get to cycling, and walking normally gets just tagged on as, oh yeah, walking, we'll put that up along with cycling. Cycling and walking are very different modes. Yes, they're both important components of active travel, but pedestrians and cyclists need to be treated quite often quite differently. And I said walking just tends to be neglected, and I think that's been compounded by the recent DFT consultation document, which is meant to be about cycling and walking, only has cycling in the title.
What about the kind of demographics that, with the population and the affordability of housing just for London, if we're talking about London at the moment, where people are actually having to go further and further outside of London in order to be able to afford to buy a house? That's going to have a huge change on your walk-to-work model, where you're going to be walking from a train station, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate. I live 3.5 miles away from work. At the moment, my journey to work, I said, is 5 miles. For me, that's walkable. And I'm lucky to be able to afford to live where I do. I have a very small house, which is how I afford to live where I do. But yes, it isn't open to everybody. But I think the walking will be is virtually part of all trips. So if you're living further out, you've still got that walk to the train station or the tube station or the bus stop. And again, it's trying to make that as active as possible so you have seamless travel. And maybe if the bus is a bit slow, you walk the first part.
Yeah.
I find when I walk to work, I can normally beat the bus. I have a slightly competitive nature sometimes, and it's fun to beat the bus. But yeah, the 73 goes down Essex Road very slowly sometimes, and I love to beat it.
Okay, well, I think that's all we've got time for right now. Put your
you.
hands together for Susan. Thank you very much. Thank you.